what I want to ask is, do you think that the murder of Breonna Taylor was in fact an execution in order to teach Black people a lesson? Hi, it's Judy. Thank you for joining me with another episode of Still Growing. Now, today we're talking Breonna Taylor. It seems that her family has reached an agreement with the Louisville Police Department in regards to her death. Actually, just before we get into it, I'd just like to ask you to please remember to subscribe and also to make comments. I'd love to know what you're thinking. Okay, let's get into it. So, although today, September the 15th, the Louisville Police Department has come to an agreement to pay Breonna's family $12 million, no one still hasn't been arrested for her murder. I think there were 4 officers involved, and as far as I know, 1 officer was fired and the other 3 officers are on pay leave. A matter of fact, today when they released the statement, that the family would be awarded this money, the police department went as far as to say that as part of the settlement, the city do not acknowledge any wrongdoing. So they're not saying that they did anything wrong, which I don't exactly understand how they can say they've done nothing wrong when there were so many things that went wrong in that case. But then again, there's a lot of things that go wrong when it comes to the police and Black lives. But as you know, this case has been going on for a while. Since March is when this young lady was brutally killed inside of her home. So for the last 6 months, people have been picketing and calling for the arrest of these police officers and calling for some type of police reform, not just in this case, but for the many cases in the last few years that's been happening in regards to Black people and the police. Now, we all know it hasn't just been the last few years that Black people are being killed for no reason by police officers, but it's the last few years that they've been telephone cameras and such that people can actually show evidence of wrongdoing. So I wanted to do this video because I was wondering what you all think about this case in terms of whether the killing of Breonna was more than just another Black life taken, or whether it was actually an execution, whether it was a planned execution to teach Black women a lesson to not plan and have relationships with other Black men. And I have to say Black men, I can't just say other criminals, because in fact, they were trying to investigate. Okay, so what I want to ask is, do you think that the murder of Breonna Taylor was in fact an execution in order to teach Black people a lesson? You shouldn't actually try to have relationship with each other. You really shouldn't try to, Black woman, Black man relationship. You shouldn't want to get together and build together. Because the reason I say that is because when the police officers broke into her home, and really they broke into her home based on a no-knock warrant, which basically means that they have the right to enter the premises, enter her house without knocking, without presenting themselves. So I would imagine that in order for them to get a warrant like that, they would have to show some type of evidence that she is in fact participating in some type of an illegal activity. There is no evidence before she was, before she died, or even after. They have been no evidence, and it appears from what the police officers are even saying that they really knew ahead of time that she had no affiliation with any crimes. They, in fact, were looking for her boyfriend, which they say is a drug dealer of some sort. So if in fact he is the one that they suspect that is involved in illegal activity, why would you take that to somebody else's home? He has a home of his own. He has a place that he stays. And I'm sure this investigation has been going on for a long period of time, so they would have known that she's not involved in anything. She was in fact an emergency medical technician, so they would have seen her waking up every single day and heading out to work and heading back to home, and they don't see that she's involved in anything. So why would they get a warranty for her premise where they know that there's nothing going on with her, and in fact this gentleman doesn't even live with her? That's one thing. The second thing is to get not just a warrant, but a no-knock warrant. A warrant that says that we suspect that if we knock on the door, then whatever illegal activity that's going on or illegal material that they have, they will be able to either destroy it or hide it or something like that. So that means that you would have to have suspect at some point that she has something there, or that he is bringing something there. And if that's the case, why would you not stop him before he gets there, or have some evidence? Have some evidence that shows that she's involved. The other reason that made me wonder is because after they enter the room, apparently the boyfriend and Taylor both called out to ask who is entering, who is there. They didn't announce themselves. They didn't say anything. Him being a legal gun-carrying citizen, shot out. Eventually shot one of the police officers in the leg. Now, if you know the law to some extent, not claiming that I do, but I do know that there is a law in the states, in a lot of the states, I'm not sure if it's in all states, but a lot of the states, that's called stand your ground. I know that, and I'm sure lots of other black people know this law, because basically a lot of Europeans have used that law in order to kill a lot of black people, to say, well, they were entering my home, they illegally broke into my home, and so I had the right to kill them. So we know that law exists. So the fact that he had a gun and was protecting his life and his girlfriend's life, at that point, once he shot. Why would they not announce themselves and said, this is the police, instead of just killing them both? Why do I even ask that question? I don't even know why I even ask that question, because they never shoot to maim or to wound. It's always shoot to kill. So yeah. My heart goes out to Brianna's family and all the people that knew her and loved her. When I look at this whole tragic situation, it makes me wonder if this was just another tactic of finding another way of controlling us. Control who we have relationships with, and control what we see, control how we see the world. I feel as if perhaps Brianna was executed and done so on purpose. Her life used as an example to other black women to stay away from each other, to stay away from black men. Because when they're ready to take down the black man, the whole family will be also destroyed, regardless of whether they're innocent or not. I hope today at least her family has found some reassurance that they can make some difference in this world. Peace and love. See you next time. Bye-bye.